Nestled beyond a sleepy village veiled by thick ancient woods, there was a secret haven known only to the whispers of the wind. This glade was not marked on any map. It thrived with tiny, radiant fairies, each no taller than a tulip stem. These fairies had crafted their little world from nature's offerings. Some curled up in rose-petal hammocks hung between mushrooms, while others made cozy dens beneath mossy stones or in bark-covered nooks in trees. They were guardians of the forest, sent by nature herself. Every dawn they sprinkled morning dew on weary flowers and hummed melodies that healed cracked branches. In return, nature cloaked them in invisibility, shielding them from the curious eyes of humans. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about the mythical creatures of the forest, often wondering if they truly existed. But the forest had its own clever ways, shifting paths, whispering breezes, or a sudden wall of trees to keep intruders out. Yet, every once in a while, the forest allowed a soul to wander through. One crisp autumn day, a girl named Lila wandered into the woods. Her boots crunched golden leaves, and her breath mingled with the cool air. She wasn't searching for anything, just enjoying the world. The trees sensed her gentle spirit. Instead of pushing her back, they parted, guiding her deeper. The winding path beneath her feet slowly transformed. Pebbles shimmered, leaves vanished. When Lila looked down, she stood on smooth, glimmering stones lined with scarlet maple trees. Turning back, she found only woodland. The trail she'd followed had vanished. A quiet call tugged at her heart. Go forward. So she did, and in that moment the forest opened its heart to her. As Lila followed the cobblestone path, she felt as though the forest had gone silent, not in a frightening way, but in a gentle hush, like it was holding its breath. The sunlight filtered through the golden leaves, casting dancing patterns on the path. Soon the trees opened up to reveal a clearing. At its center stood a tiny fountain carved from crystal, bubbling with sparkling water that shimmered with colors no human had names for. And there, fluttering just above it, were the fairies. Lila gasped softly. She had never seen anything so enchanting. The fairies had wings like glass and gowns made of flower petals. Their hair shimmered like moonlight, and their laughter sounded like wind chimes in a breeze. One of the fairies noticed Lila and whispered something to the others. They paused, hovering mid-air, their tiny eyes wide with curiosity. But they didn't run, they didn't hide. Instead, one fairy floated gently towards Lila. Welcome, she said, her voice as soft as wind through the trees. You've found us because your heart sees what eyes cannot. Lila knelt beside the fountain. I didn't mean to intrude. I was just walking. The fairy smiled. And still, you were chosen. The forest guided you here. Lila looked around, overwhelmed with wonder. Is this real? The fairy giggled. Very real, but only for those who still believe in magic. And at that moment, Lila did. She didn't ask questions. She simply listened to the breeze, the water, the fairies. The forest sang a song just for her, and for the first time in a long while, everything felt right. The fairies gathered around Lila like glowing fireflies. Their wings sparkled, and their tiny hands reached out, curious and kind. The fairy who first greeted her, whose name was Seraphina, sat gently on a mushroom near the fountain. There is a reason you've been brought here, Lila, Seraphina said softly. Lila leaned in, her heart fluttering like the fairies around her. What reason? Seraphina looked at the sky, then back at Lila. The forest is growing tired. There is a shadow creeping at its edges. Not seen, not heard, but felt. It comes from forgotten hearts, from people who no longer love the earth. Lila's brow furrowed. How can I help? You believe, Seraphina said simply, and belief is the seed of magic. She waved her tiny hand, and a glowing crystal emerged from the fountain. It hovered before Lila like a star. This is the Heartstone, Seraphina explained. It glows with the love and care people have for nature, but its light has dimmed. Lila watched the crystal. Its glow was faint, like a candle at the end of its wick. To restore its light, Seraphina continued, you must share kindness with the earth. Plant a tree, protect a stream, teach others to care. Each act will brighten the stone, and the forest with it. Lila held the Heartstone gently in her hands. It was warm, like sunlight on a cool morning. I'll do it, she whispered, her voice filled with wonder and determination. The fairies beamed. The forest seemed to sigh in relief, the leaves above rustling in approval. Seraphina smiled. Then go, child of the woods. You are now a guardian too. And with that, the trees slowly began to part, opening a path back to the world.